So hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In the previous video we have discussed about the random forest and the basics of random forest. We have discussed about the advantages, disadvantages, or you can call limitations and applications of random forest. In this video we are going to discuss in detail with the help of an example problem how the random forest works. So for that, let us see how this random forest works. So basically, we can consider we have a original data set. Let's consider some values. So we are using some original data set. Let us take the attributes x1, x2, x3 and x. Let us take only 3 and let's take y as the output variable in this case. Now suppose in this data set we are having 4 to 5 records. Record 1, there may be any value. Suppose this is predicting positive, negative, positive and so on. So let us consider this is my original data set. So as any other problem in random forest, we have original data set. Now we know that we are working on n sampling, so which consists of more than one decision tree. So now we will create n number of decision trees using this original data set. We will use only this data set and we create n number of trees. So from this, create n decision trees. Create n decision trees. You can create as many decision trees as you like in this case, but remember when we talk of creating this decision tree, we are working on the feature of randomness, that is also known as, you can call it as random sampling. Fine, we call it as random sampling. Now when we talk of this, so here we also need to know one more factor, that is duplication is allowed, which means we can use one record multiple times also. So now based on this, let's create a data set. Let us call this data step as a new data set. Let us call this as one of the new data set. So let's create a data set for this. Let's use x1, x2, x3 as attributes and y attribute as my predictor output. Now when I create this, I will pick the records. Suppose I will pick on random basis. Suppose I have picked the second record and the result in case of second is suppose positive. Now I have taken first record, result in this case is negative, and then I took third one, third one where the result was negative. Sorry, first was positive, third is negative. Now I picked the fourth one. So I am picking on random basis. Remember, the name of the algorithm is random forest, which is based on bootstrapping and bagging, that is ensemble learning, and multiple decision trees are to be created. So what we are doing from the original data set, we are using the random sampling. We are taking the random samples and we will be creating decision trees. So suppose this is my new data set 1 I am creating, and for this I have picked random values. I can discard if anyone is not required, I can skip that. Now suppose I have already said that duplication is allowed. So now suppose I have picked the third record once again. So third record is picked twice. Fine. So here we have a bootstrap data set. Now suppose I want to include fifth also. So I will include that value also in which the fifth record was positive, so on. So now let's create a random decision tree. So let's create decision tree. For this, it will be picked again randomly. I have taken x1 as the root node. Here I am having x2. Here I am having x3. For this, the result is positive. It may be negative, positive, negative. Fine. So I have created one decision tree. So here we have considered a subset of variables for each step. whereas in decision tree we consider all the data sets. Now suppose once this is done, I want to create one more decision tree. So for that I will use create another data set, that is a new data set 2. So in this, let's pick x1. Suppose I want to pick x2 and x3 only and y. Fine. So when I'm picking this, suppose I want to pick first record, second record and fourth only. I don't want to pick any other record. So this is possible. The first was having positive, second was having positive, third we have discarded, it is having fourth one is having positive. So again I have taken one new sample in this case, and I will create a decision tree for this also. This, let's say decision tree is like this: x2, x3, here negative result, here positive result. Suppose in all cases a positive, and if there is any case of negative, and likewise. So I have created one more tree. Similarly I will pick a new data set. So till now we have picked two data sets. Now let's pick one more data set, that is x3 data set, sorry, data set 3. So for data set 3, let's pick x1, x3, x2 values, and let's now for this data set we will create one more decision tree. x1 result is minus, x3 here, x2 plus, minus. So I have created one more decision tree. Similarly I can pick another new data set, let's call data set 4 with x3 and x2 and y. So I will create decision tree for this also. Let's take x2 over here, x3 over here, plus here, minus here, plus here, and so on. Similarly we can create as many decision trees as we require. So we can create new data set and number, and the one thing that we need to note down over here is we will plot the decision tree in randomized fashion. The important thing that we need to remember is randomized fashion. What does it mean by randomized fashion? We are plotting the decision tree in the randomized fashion, as we can see in this example. And for creating this decision tree we will use this bootstrap data set. Bootstrap data set is also known as random sampling. So the important thing that we need to remember over here is we are creating the decision trees by using bootstrapping, or that is random sampling data sets. So what we will do, we will create n sampled data sets. We will create n sampled data sets, and for these n sampled data sets what we are doing, we are picking the random samples. For those we will create n trees, and based on that, now suppose my query is x1, x2, x3, what is the value for y? In this case, how will we take the decision? For taking this decision, I will pick the result from all the decision trees. Now suppose my first tree has given the decision positive, decision tree 2 has given the result negative, decision tree 3 has given the result positive, decision tree 4 has given the result positive, decision tree 5 has given the result as negative, and so on. So we will pick the result of all the decision trees. All results from all the decision trees will be considered. After this we will go with voting, and the majority will win in this case. So to solve this query, we have to check all the decision trees and collect the answer from all the decision trees, and with the help of voting or the majority, the answer to this will be given. So in this case there were 3 positives, 3 positive, 2 negative. So the answer to this query will be positive. So it will go into the positive class. So this is how the random forest works. So I hope you have got the idea how to create a random forest, and how to create different decision trees in case of random forest. So thanks for watching the video.